We are joined by Bristol's own multi-award-winning blues rock superstar, chart conqueror, and every other accolade we can throw at you, Elles Bailey. How you doing, Els?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. I say blues. I could have probably interchanged that with country or Americana or soul or any other. You probably got some doom metal like in the background somewhere as well. It wouldn't surprise me. Do you write from a perspective then of saying this has to have a country feel or a soul, or do you just write and it sounds however it sounds?
Just as long as you're kind of doing something that you believe in. I think that's the most important thing, and it's the hardest thing is actually being like honest with yourself, especially if you're writing something personal. You really got to dredge up some stuff. So it's being honest with yourself, and then you can be completely honest with the listener. That's all I ever want as a writer. It's just for people to listen to it and think, I feel that.
Certainly something that comes through in the new record, and talking of the new record, your head must be spinning. I mean, it's been a crazy couple of weeks for you, not only in terms of the promotional bit, but the reception to it. It must have gone as good as you could have ever imagined it would have.
I think it went better about a week or so before the album was coming out. We were chatting to the team and they were like, this could be a top 40 record. And I was like, what? It was, that was the day that it debuted at number 11 in the midweeks. And that whole experience seems like a dream. What was that, like 2 weeks ago?
I was saying, I've mentioned obviously the record, Shining in the Half-Light, and just give us give people a flavour of how well this is done.
It was 2 in Americana, 4 in the Indies, number 9, I think, in the sales charts, like next to Ed Sheeran. Like, what? Ed Sheeran and Adele, I think. And like 3 away from Beth Hart, who's like one of my absolute heroes. I couldn't get my head around that.
It's the 3rd studio album. Do you see it as a continuation of, or a complete brand new chapter for Elles Bailey?
I see it as a continuation of. There's a lot of flavours of the first and second album. I feel like it's made. It feels like an Elles Bailey record, but it does feel like it's maybe slightly more edgy. It still has the really, really big sounds. Every time I turn around and say, I'm going to do a stripped back album, and I don't, because I love production and I love shed loads of guitars and stuff like that. With Shining in the Half-Light, I was with my band who I've toured with for years and years and years, and obviously we hadn't played together for 8 months because this was December 2020 and the last time we'd really gigged was March, sort of pre-pandemic. But I really think the fact that we know each other so well, we know each other as a unit as well, just kind of made this record, I don't know, I think there's just a little bit of magic on it. We also recorded it to tape, which I always forget because I flatly told everyone I didn't want to record to tape. Right. And then we got to the studio and they were like, okay, cool, let's press the tape machine. And I was like, wait, what? I thought we said no. They were like, Els, just give it a chance. And it was great. And I was really listening to it the other day and you could hear the tape. I was like, this is cool.
Well, tape is making a resurgence though, isn't it? We were only saying, I was at Rough Trade the other day and I was saying to a friend that so many bands now, many bands are bringing it back on cassette and back on tape, and it's just amazing. And the problem is, I wouldn't even know where to get hold of something to play it on. That's the problem.
Exactly. I think it's just to look pretty or maybe use as like a rattle.
So it's still kind of mind boggles me that we've got Bristol now has got its own homegrown Nashville star, if you like. I mean, the fact that, to say both of those original albums were recorded in Nashville with Nashville royalty as well, people that were used to recording with the likes of Johnny Cash and so on. Does it still feel real to you? Is it very surreal?
It is very surreal. What I will say is, I'm not the only one from Bristol, because of course Yola, Grammy nominated Yola, has sort of trod a similar path, and made records with Dan Auerbach over in Nashville. She's such an inspiration. But yeah, I remember back in 2016, and somehow I'd ended up in Nashville, and I'd been there a week, and I'd met Bobby Wood, and he took me in to meet Dan Auerbach, and I was sat in Dan Auerbach's studio with Dwayne Eddy, my dad, and Bobby and Dan, and I was like, how has this happened? Like, it was all so fast.
Yeah.
And I'd had so many doors closed over in the UK. I basically, in 2016, I was like, I'm going to release an EP and maybe that'll be it. And then suddenly this whole Nashville thing came up. I only went to cut a couple of demos. Suddenly that became an album. And that album story came back to England. And then suddenly people were like, oh, okay. Oh, let's give you a gig here or put you on tour with this person. And suddenly just doors started to open. But it took me going to Nashville and coming back.
What was that? Almost a gaining of a legitimacy, sort of, oh, well, this artist is recorded in Nashville, so therefore...
Maybe, I just don't know. And I think as the rise of Americana countries really, really started to come through recently, and I've just sort of been a part of that, I guess, which I'm very grateful for. And I think the blues communities, the Americana communities, like, they massively championed me, and I'm incredibly grateful for that.
I think it still surprises people. That scene in Bristol is living, breathing, and it's a lot stronger than people give it credit for.
Bristol's just so eclectic, and I think what I love about Bristol is, I mean, all the session musicians are so incredible, and a lot of them are rooted in blues and jazz, and that obviously crosses to Americana and country, and so you just got these insanely talented session musicians. You could walk down, the Gloucester Road on a Tuesday night and find some of the best musicians in the world just having a jam. It's brilliant. So
back to the new album, 10 tracks in total, a real mixed bag of tempos on there. So it comes out of the gate pretty strong, doesn't it, with the likes of The Game and Sunshine City. I think Sunshine City's the one I keep going back to. I absolutely love that track. There's also it basically kicks it back with Halfway House and Who's That. I say, which is the more enjoyable? What do you get more out of, or does it depend on the situation?
I think it depends on the situation. I mean, Sunshine City, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure song written about our wonderful city. Actually, a night out on Gloucester Road, watching incredible session musicians having a jam.
There you go.
Basically that, and a little bit too much beer and tequila as well, and a hangover that was so bad I wrote a song about it. And obviously live, that's so much fun to do. But Halfway House is one of my favourite tracks as well. And I remember we'd done a live studio performance that I've not released yet. It was the second take we did. And about halfway through, I sort of thought in my head, no one mess up, because this is magic. Whatever is happening right now, it was just like something just fell on the studio and it just felt otherworldly. And we got to the end of the song and I was like, yes, nobody messed up.
So the title track, Shining in the Half-Light, it's actually the last track on the album. What was the thinking behind that?
It felt like it was either an opener or a closer. I don't know, it didn't feel like it was the right song to open with. And I think Cheats and Liars just, for me, told the story of the record. And there's kind of sandwiched, if you listen to Cheats and Liars and you go all the way through and then you get to Shining in the Half-Light, Cheats and Liars begins with a tolling piano and Shining in the Half-Light ends with a tolling piano. And I was like, oh, I didn't actually realise that. But when you listen all the way through and it goes back through again, it's like, oh, that's quite nice.
It's full-on festival season now, and festivals from Bilston all the way to Newcastle. But buried right in the middle is a blues festival in Romania. Is blues a big thing in Romania? That's kind of just like, it was like, oh, okay, it's like Newcastle, Stoke, Lincoln, Romania. Oh, what?
I know. There's blues all over Europe. It's amazing. I've never been to Romania, so we'll have to catch up afterwards, and I'll let you know if they like blues in Romania.